good evening, good morning, folks. It's your man, always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Folks, can you believe it? This is the last day of August. Summer is almost at the end. It's the start of the Labor Day weekend. Woo-hoo! If you have a job, enjoy your 3-day weekend. Me, I don't have to worry about that. I had to work in a long time. So, folks, this is a busy day. I mean, there was a couple of shows going on just a few hours ago. Just wrap up the Lena Popa Classic, where it is the only show where exclusively women's bodybuilding. Shout out to Lena Popa, amazingly. I had the pleasure of meeting her a couple years ago once in Savannah. And also today is the other half of the Masters World Championships, which is going on in Pittsburgh. The ladies are going to hit stage right now. Shout out to the ladies who have been guests on my channel who's doing the show. And shout out to the ladies who just got the pro cards just this weekend at the North American. So, folks, as you know, this has been a great month for me. I've been busy with content, interviews, and stuff like that. Especially, it's been a month when I went to Tampa to help my dear friend, the lovely Mrs. Eunice Martinez Kitchen, and Bad Rap. And Bad Rap, as you know, the acronym are, big and defined, ripped and plump. So shout out to Eunice, and thank you for being a friend and giving me this hat. I owe you so much, lady. So, folks, as you know, this is my last interview for the month. And I'm going out with a bang, and also with a lovely lady in front of me. She is a bikini pro. I know you guys. I know you're used to the big buff muscle women, but as you know, my channel is open to any opportunity to hear my story, be it bikini, be it physique, be it figure, even being, fit model. Excuse me, says my language. And I just can't get off my tongue. So we have is Verushqa Andrade here, and we're just gonna be, so I won't mess up with my country language. We call her V. So she is IFBB pro. She turned pro in 2023 at the Universe, made a debut last year, and she also competed this year too, right?
Yeah, yes, in June. June, yeah, the whole month of June, basically.
All right, cool. So, folks, we're going to talk to her, share her story, and also we cannot forget one most important thing. She serves our country as a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force. And anybody who serves our country, I will always say, I don't say thank you for your service, madam. I always say I appreciate the sacrifice you made for us as a citizen. And also, she's going to be a future sawbone, meaning she's right now studying to become a doctor. So, welcome, ma'am, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome, much welcome. So, can you do this for me? And as I often ask you, ladies, can you share what got you started in sport, as I call muscle masculinity? Please share.
So really, it's been a long story, high road. Back in 2021, I think. I've always loved to train. I've always been active. I was super into dance when I was really young. And then once I hit college, I stopped that. And then I started training, really getting into weightlifting, and fell in love with that. And I used to train as if I would compete. So a lot of people, and I didn't know anything about bodybuilding at that time. So a lot of people would just ask me at the gym, "Hey, do you compete?" And I would be just like, "Oh no," like I've always been curious, but not really looked more into it. And then finally, in 2021, I decided to take that step and really look at what it's about. There was a lot of other things going on in my life that was high stress, and I needed something to just get my mind off of it, and something I could just control for myself, and bodybuilding happened to be that outlet for me. And little do I know that it turned into such a big passion of mine. And now it's my life and I can't imagine not being in it. But initially when I was thinking about it, I had no idea about a coach or anything. I didn't know where to look. And then I just basically looked on Instagram. I just looked up bodybuilding coaches and then just tried to figure out what would pop up. And finally I found a coach, and she ended up being in Australia. She was a great coach. She turned me pro. But really what really initiated my whole career was stepping into my home gym right now, Dean Caputo's Powerhouse Gym. I stepped into there not knowing anything, and they just kind of took me under my wing and showed me the ropes and showed me how to pose and all that. And ever since then, I just, within a year, I tried for nationals, and that was Universe. Got my pro card there. So yeah, it started as a slow process, and then it just accelerated from there. And I didn't expect to turn pro that day, but it was an amazing accomplishment. And I remember being on cloud nine the entire time. And ever since then, I've just been in this sport. And I love to learn, and I love how bodybuilding, you're constantly challenging yourself, constantly learning, and then really getting into coaching and everything from there. I just continue to learn about me as an athlete and what my body and how it responds, and then continue to learn for my clients. So it's been a great journey since then.
Well, yeah, that's interesting. I know some ladies I've talked to, they found like bodybuilding really helps, especially with their mindset, the struggles we have in life. And you said you earned your card in the Universe. I remember I interviewed China Milton, and she competed that year, 2023. And she told me there was like six, yeah, there was 600. China Milton and Catherine, another lady I interviewed, they were both competing competitors. There was like 600 girls that year. How did you get?
Right? It was a huge class. I think it was one of the biggest classes we've in that show within that period. I remember being backstage like, wow, like I was backstage for like 6+ hours, way past the time we were supposed to be called because there were so many girls. Yeah, it was crazy. And it makes that victory all the more special because it was amongst amazing physiques. All those girls like really brought it that day, and I did not expect to get that, but it was awesome because the judges, looking at the scorecard too, was unanimous. They all had me as first. They had put me in first, and they didn't move me, and that was a amazing feeling. Like, okay, yeah. I belong here. And leading up to that time too, it was crazy because a lot of crazy things were going on in my life, and this was the one thing I could control and do well in. So I really hung on to it. I actually got into a car accident 5 weeks before Universe. I couldn't walk at all for 2 weeks, and then I was slowly getting into it. But I still wanted to go and compete because I was so determined. And I'm so glad I did. So, yeah.
Well, that's the thing is, determination can motivate anybody. Not motivate, determination, discipline is two things that's very important, especially as a bodybuilder. You need that thing because sometimes things have happened in your life. I know ladies who have dealt with surgery. A lady I just interviewed a while back, she just had surgery on her shoulder. Some ladies are dealing with other issues, be it something like in their life or just everyday, just things that happen. It's tough trying to get yourself back together after going what you went through the car wreck. Here you got my man Ryan Lake coming through. He says, hello, V. Thank you, brother. Say hello to you. Says also, he says this. He says, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
All right. He also says this. He says, you are my favorite female bodybuilder ever. Oh, wow.
That's so sweet. Wow.
Wow. I'm like this, V. Hey. You're pretty. You're like this. You're a pretty girl. And guys come in here, they be like, yo, got a new girl here. She's fine as a motherfucker. That's what it is. So also, like I said again, you served our country in the U.S. Air Force. What got you in the Air Force?
So actually in the Air Force, it was through medical school. So they have a scholarship program. It's called HPSP. So it's called Health Professional Scholarship Program. And I was really curious about the military for a while since my undergrad. I don't know, there's just something about it. I really had that desire and want to serve and give back to our country for just all the good that it's brought me. I moved here, I became a is it called naturalized citizen? So I moved here from India. So like I'm very appreciative of the United States and the life it brought me coming here. And so I wanted to give back and serve. And I remember during undergrad, there were some recruiters coming and talking about opportunities for those wanting to do medicine. And I thought that was amazing because that was something I was really looking into. And so I really started digging deep into it, looking at the different programs and the different branches. And the guy I was dating at the time was in the Air Force, so I kind of knew a little bit about the Air Force at the time, and I had interacted with a lot of people in there. And then I had a good friend of mine who's gone through the program in the Air Force and really loved her experience. So I decided to give it a shot and then went through OTS training in 2021, I think, or 2020. And since then, it's been great. And currently, I'm not active duty since I'm still in school. And once I'm out of school, I'll be going back into active duty.
All right. Well, like I said, we appreciate what you have done for our country, especially coming from another country and adopting our traditions and ways. Especially now, the climate of this country is going, and people realize that a lot of people contribute to this country. My ancestors contributed to this country. Yours people are contributing to this country, and and not everybody's like my oldest nephew and my oldest niece and my sister's her two youngest children joined the army. And they talk stories about the Air Force. Y'all getting 5-star meals and driving around in Humvees and having a good time. y'all do nothing in the Air Force. Y'all do nothing.
Yeah, they call it the Chair Force for a reason.
Yeah.
But it's true. Yeah, we get it good compared to the other.
I was when I was younger, I was interested in the Marine Corps, but then I got a job, and then that got put aside. And I knew quite a few friends that joined in the military. But much respect is because the Air Force we know are most of our brains and our intellect, our scientists, our doctors, also Navy too. That's where we mostly get a lot of information. So now you decided to get into bodybuilding, especially coming from a country like India. Originally, your family's very traditional. And I've interviewed with a lady who's from the Philippines, a lady from China, Singapore, young lady, she's from Sri Lanka, who competes in wellness. I think she competed in the same show you did, New York Pro, a while back. I sent her a link to you. Check her out. And what was that like when you told your family we started doing? There's one thing with with y'all Indians, y'all got to be doctors or lawyers, so that's from a tradition. Yeah. But then, and one thing joining the military, then becoming a bodybuilder. I mean, what was that conversation like?
Yeah, definitely. It was a hard transition for, I think, my family because it's just so different, and it's not. It's so against the grain with our culture and how they see women, and it's a very traditional mindset and how they see women. And seeing a woman who's into something like bodybuilding and muscle and stuff like that, and also something that's not related to either a career that they like doctor or lawyer, and also something that's not helping them be a good attribute as a wife, good qualities as a wife. That's a lot of things they think of when they see women in India, is those things are the valuable stuff. And bodybuilding just was a new concept. Now it's growing in India, but still there's some resistance. And I think with the women and the culture compared to the men in India in bodybuilding. And with my family, I think initially my parents actually came to my very first show ever, and they were trying to be supportive. And my parents are a little more, they're traditional in some ways, but they're also a little more Americanized. So they were trying to be open and accepting. And so they came to my show and kind of to see how it is. And I remember my mom freaked out, like she started bawling because she freaked out because she'd never seen me that lean before. And I was like very lean and My first show, I didn't have as much muscle. And so when I got lean, I looked just very skinny. And she just freaked out seeing that level of leanness in me. And but now they're used to it. And they're more supportive now. As long as I'm happy, they're happy. And they're seeing I'm thriving in this. But there's still a little bit of, I think, hesitation and concern in their eyes. And for them, as long as I get my degree and my education, they're happy. So, and if I continue and I'm going through that path, they're fine with whatever else I do along with that. But that's like their main thing. If bodybuilding doesn't get in the way of that, they're okay. That's their mindset now. And so I'm okay with that. And and that's something I want to do as well. I want to finish my schooling, and I don't like giving up on anything. So I like doing everything. So I'll do it all at once. But it's still a resistance. I'm still fighting a little bit with our culture. But it is getting better, and I want to be one of the examples for women in India to show them that yes, it's okay to be in this sport, and you don't have to give up on other things in order to do it. And I'm showing that it's possible to do both medicine and that. Because a lot of times I think that's one of the hesitations for people in India is like, okay, it's taking away from what they really like, the medical, the doctor, things like, and lawyer or engineer. So if I'm able to show that you can do both, that's going to open up it's just going to open it up to people in India, I think, because they're going to see that it is possible. And yeah, I still get messages from women in India, and they look up to me in a lot of ways, and then they're like, how do you do this? How are you doing this against the culture? And for me, it's like I'm trying to show that it's not the stereotypical way they think, and I'm trying to break the stereotypes, basically. And yeah, so that's one of my main goals as well in India, is to have more women be in that sport. And it is growing. Sharu is great. Sharu's shows are amazing. I've competed in his shows, and I plan to hopefully in the future compete in some of his shows. And it's opening up more. There's a few more bikini pros, Indian bikini pros coming up. Yeah, so it's been great, but there's still a few of us. I'm trying to make it grow.
Well, here's the thing is, I know we said there was two ladies who just got their pro cards in women's physique, and one just made a pro debut. It was in Spain just this early this summer, and I've seen some ladies in pictures and stuff like that who are starting to get involved in the sport more. I mean, it's in certain places where traditionally, where it's like seen as a very masculine sport, bodybuilding. Men should do it, not just in like countries like India, China. My interview with Amy Jimenez, she's from the Philippines. She's the only female bodybuilder from the Philippines. A lot of the ladies are either bikini or wellness or even
Wow.
figure. Especially other countries like south of the United States, like countries like Mexico, Argentina, and also I know a lady. She's a lawyer and a mother, and she's been to Olympia before, and she's from Chile, because those countries are very, as you might say, masculine, machismo. And the idea, like, think about, it's like traditions. Like women are supposed to be, the best way to say it, you're supposed to be the bearer of our children, the keeper of our homes. The purpose of the woman is to, raise our children, to make sure we got a food stomach, or old-fashioned country way, you're barefoot and pregnant. But you are in the military, you are a doctor, you are a bodybuilder. And this is about this. This is about a passion for you. And I know your parents, traditional, like your mom was like, "My baby, she is too skinny. I'm worried about her. She might die." And your father's sitting there saying, "What is these?" He's up there and he's half naked. These men looking at her, ogling at her, thinking about sex about her. Saying, "No, that, because you can't think. This is pretty lady, guys. Come on, you can't help yourself. We're men. I'm like this. Yeah. My name. I might not be a Don Juan, but I'm certainly no Tuan. So, so,
Yeah,
so,
it's funny. Yeah, and it's
yeah.
like you're a man, so you know how men think. And so then my dad's like, "Oh my god." But yeah, it's been. I think slowly they're getting more accepting of it. They actually saw me. They went to Universe with me. They got to see me win my pro card. They didn't really know, I think, how big of a deal that is, though. They're like, "Oh, you won," but they didn't know like what a big thing that is. And my mom actually came with me to India when I went to see Sharu. So they're being a little bit more open, and they're like realizing I'm stubborn, so I'm set in my ways, and I'm going to continue no matter what. Um, and so they're being a bit more open and happy that I'm happy type of thing. But still, it's just a back and forth. Like I'll still fight a little bit about it, but um, yeah, it's just like when you say it and like you are confident in what you're, setting towards. And for me, I am. It almost makes them a bit more accepting of it because of it. But yeah, it's still a constant battle with the culture in general, I think. So, but it was cool. My grandparents came to one of my shows in California when I was an amateur, and I was a little nervous about that. I'm like, oh my god, my grandparents are gonna see me like in my bikini on stage, just like But my grandma was actually like cheering for me. It was interesting. Yeah,
Oh,
so it was
that's
yeah, it was sweet.
yes,
Yeah,
that's sweet. Your
yeah,
granny saying, "Yeah, my baby, she's doing so
yeah,
well." I know your grandfather's probably like your dad say she's hipped it back naked. I'm worried about that. I don't want about to mess
yeah.
with her. But yeah,
Um,
I think that thing is if your family knows who you are as a person, they respect that. As long as you're doing what is traditional, you're getting you're getting your doctor's degree. You are serving this country. They should support you. This is
yeah,
something that maybe a little bit out of the comfort zone, but as long
mhm,
as you're safe, you're happy. That's good. So,
yeah,
folks, while we got V here, we'll do this. We'll jump into her social media for a little bit. If you want to follow her, her link in the description of this live. Check her out. So we see support. I know you guys out there, you're more likely to bring in the big muscle women. I know, but she's a lovely lady. She has great potential in this sport. And we hope to see her more in the future. But guys, there's no force fits UV. I say this as a warning to you guys out there. Guys, be respectful. No weird shit. No D pics.
yeah,
Stop it.
yeah,
Get some help. What's
yeah,
wrong with you?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes it's a warning out there. Some people say like, so we jump in here social media for a little bit. So you want to follow her link description. And here's some pictures here. And this is also, she runs a business. She's a personal trainer also. And we pull this up here, she's for the Powerhouse Gym, street bound personal trainer, certified personal trainer, Northeast Ohio Medical University. Oh, 2021 master's degree in sorry, not say
Anatomy. Yeah.
anatomy. Okay, I'm a little bit country. Sometimes it takes a while to take these words out. Currently, medical doctor candidate, U.S. Army Air Force Second Lieutenant, certified in nutrition by T. Colin Campbell, Center for Nutrition Studies, CPR, and First Aid for Severe Trauma, FAST, certified, IFBB, Bikini Pro. You got to make sure you put that in there. Competition and fitness coach and NPC posing coach, bilingual in English and Hindi. And wow, you got a resume here. You really set yourself up here. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. Here she is at the universe. Where's that feeling when they told you are now IB Pro?
Yeah, it was an amazing feeling. It was just I was on cloud nine. I couldn't believe it. At that point, it was just victory for me, like over everything, because there were so many crazy things going on in my life during that time. And that win just meant even more. It was like victory over all that. And I was just on cloud nine since then. And I was like, okay, this is where I'm meant to be. I'm passionate about it, and I'm gonna keep climbing high, because that's what I do. So, and then it's getting closer to my dream. It just, my checklist for my dream just basically accelerated. I could check off a lot of the things when I turned pro fast, which I wasn't expecting. And now the next goal is Olympia. So I'll
Yeah.
keep working towards it.
Yeah, here's some views here. Also, another show, which is, even though I'm not a big fan of the show particularly, is also it's the classic, but you got to get invited. But that's a possibility for you.
Yes, and I mean I'm in Ohio currently, so that would be great. I've thought about it. I don't know when I'll be doing that. It depends. My coach kind of decides my season for me, so eventually I will, because I want to, because that's the only pro show in Ohio, from what I
Yeah,
remember. Yeah, so
yeah. And you mentioned your coach. Who's your coach? How long y'all been together?
so my coach is James. I think his last name's Ayat. That's how you pronounce it. But Team Atlas. So he's one of the top bikini coaches out there. He mostly coaches bikini and a little bit of wellness, and then mostly it's bikini and fit model. And he's made like the most amount of bikini pros. So he's a great coach, very well experienced, and I know he's going to get me to where I need to go, where I want to be. So um, he's already he transformed me even this recent season compared to my previous, and so I know from then on it's just going to be even better and better. So we're shooting for he wants to shoot for June next year for my shows again. So that's the goal. I don't know what shows yet, but sometime probably in June.
He's just your little kitty cat. He's your little
Yeah.
kitty kitty.
Yeah, she's my little my little companion. She's sitting right beside me right now on the chair next
Uh,
to me. Yeah,
and
she's
right
so
here, yeah, and right here, wow. I mean,
yeah, I'll
say-
say bikini has muscle too. We have
yeah,
muscle. Yeah.
y'all do. I mean, y'all do have muscles. Certain levels. Here's y'all getting a massage.
Mhm.
And who? And this is your massage therapist.
Yeah, his name's Jose, and he's the best here in Ohio. And if you're ever visiting here, you should go see him. He's based on an old school iron gym, and he does body work. His work for me leading up to shows is a game changer because my recovery is great and my body looks better because of his work on me.
Well, ma'am, I think your body looks most technically great. I mean, that's one part. That's part about being bodybuilders: rest, recovery, things to help you, like massages and everything else. I mean,
Mhm.
especially how it's like I said again, bikini is a different level compared to the other divisions. Y'all don't
Yeah,
have to have the mass of muscle, but you still need good conditioning, a good
yeah,
shape. Also you have to know how to move and walk because, like in there, you wearing high heels, and
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. That's
yeah,
another thing. Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Posing is huge. Besides the physique itself, like the presentation and the look in bikini matters. So the posing is huge, and learning how to walk in heels, but also really giving that sass in our routine or however our personality shows in the routine. And then the bikini, the makeup, the hair, everything matters in bikini, besides the physique. So, um, yeah, it's, yeah.
Yeah. Who's this gentleman with you?
His name's Jim. He's one of my best friends. He came to all my shows this past season. He traveled with me, and yeah,
I'm a bit older than you, sweetheart. I'm a bit old fashioned, man. I
yeah.
couldn't be your friend. You look that damn good. I couldn't. He's a good dude. I got respect the dude for that, but I couldn't. You have to be my wife. We have to be married. Yeah, babies.
That's funny. Yeah, he's been awesome. Like honestly, I have so many good like guy friends. It's been great. Um,
uh,
they treat me better than the guys I've dated. So,
Uh, yeah, I think it's like being protected, being like a big brother. I mean, I've been a
oh
big
yeah,
brother. I've been an uncle too, because you're probably older. You're about as old as some of my nieces and great nieces. You're not too far from the ages, but
yeah,
yeah, I mean, and like I said again, you are a beautiful woman. It's just your look of yourself, your body, you just have that exoticness about you, being that you're of Indian descent. And I think that's one thing that helps out because women of different ethnicities bring a certain thing to them. Like you look at the wellness division. That's why the Brazilians are so dominant. They have the great shape conditioning. They're multicultural because they have a bit of the African, a bit of the European, a bit of the Taino in them, and they bring that level of great definition and muscle. Like it's just the sport as I've been following it has evolved over years. Like if you
Yeah.
look at it now, when women's bodybuilding, like somebody posted something with a picture of some ladies back in the 80s. It was Rich McLeish, some other ladies competing in 1980 Miss Olympia. Those women will be considered small compared when you look at women in bikini now. I mean,
Yeah, it's evolved. The level of muscularity for sure. Like the figure back then is probably now what bikini kind of is like. And then bikini back then is kind of now like fit model. Like it's grown because bikini is the level of muscularity that's in bikini right now. It's nothing compared to what it was even when it first started. So it's evolved, and I like it where it's at. I like that this level of muscle. So it's just as long as it stays there, and then fit model stays where it's at as well, and doesn't progress. Because then where is bikini gonna go?
yeah.
So
Well, that's the problem with that because even though I've interviewed a couple of ladies that fit model, it's anytime I say I got, I got to kill my tongue. No offense to them as competitors, but I feel
yeah.
like this: you bring in a division, you're trying to recreate uh, another division when bikini first came in. But here's going to happen after a while, just like bikini, just like wellness, just like women's physique and figure, it's going to evolve because this sport is very influential on the lifestyle of bodybuilding. You also, if you're a competitor that takes performance enhancers, well, you need it because there's natural bodybuilding, but it's a lot harder because you use performance enhancers to help you recover. You want a quick recovery. You want to go to the gym the next day. You don't want to be sitting in the house like I got two bad knees like Stone Cold Steve Austin. And sometimes if I do too much, my knees will be bothering me. But that's the one thing about when you take performance enhancers. It's not the part about when all people when we think about steroids, it's all like, oh, you just need this, need that. You pop this, pop that. No, if you're not consistent, you're not disciplined, don't follow a diet, don't work out, you don't train, you can take all the shit you're going to take, but you're not going to be at the level. If you look at people now, individuals like one lady, Jordan Lee, who I follow, she's an amazing young lady. She just got her qualification at Atlanta Pro just last week. One lady I think I hear a lot about is Laura Lee. Hear quite a lot about her. Yeah. I mean, I don't follow many bikini competitors because mostly my stuff is about the other divisions. Is there
Yeah.
anybody other than just anybody in bikini and any other divisions that you really are a fan of?
Definitely Laura Lee. I really have looked up to her since I got into the sport. And I've interacted with her a few times in shows, and she's been so sweet every time. I also do like Jen Dory. I think she's a great ambassador of the sport, and I love her physique too. Maureen is as well. I do like Maureen, and she has that exotic look as well. And I kind of resonate with her a little bit in that way. I do like her look a lot. Um, and then in general, just a few others. Like I do like you mentioned Jordan. I don't know how to say your name, like Jordan or
Jordan. Jordan.
Jordan. It
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I follow her, and I followed up into her show, and I think she looked amazing as well. And she brings that unique look. And oh, I forget her name. The girl who's from Ghana, or not Ghana. Is it Yvonne? I don't remember her name, but she's a great poser. There's so many, but usually the ones that I really look up to is Laura Lee and Jen are my two main ones, I would say. And since I've been in this sport, though, I've made just so many close friends who are bikini pros, and it's been great, even just on my team, from the shows I've done, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've been a fan of bodybuilding for a long time. I grew up the tail end of Arnold Schwarzenegger's career when he did his last Olympia. Lee Haney and guys like Lita Brada and remember guys like Tom Plaza. And
Mm.
then when I get to my brother, used to play football here in our hometown. And he used to always get the muscle bags. He used to always look through it because I grew up in the '80s. And, popular cartoons were He-Man and Thundercats. And then I started became a teenager, and then my mind changed. And I saw these women like people like Corey Everson and Carlin Dunlap and Laura Craval. They transformed me something else. I became a muscle person. Oh. I became a typical kind of criminal. But doing this
Yeah.
content, I get to learn a lot about you ladies. Some ladies
Yeah.
I'm very fond of. I follow social media. Some ladies I've interviewed, become friends with. One
Hmm.
particular lady I'm a fan of, I'm always be a fan of, is Andrea Shaw.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. She's amazing.
oh, she's so beautiful.
Yeah.
She's my girlfriend, She's my girlfriend. So, but a while back, a friend of mine, this is my friend Eunice Martinez Kitchen. She runs Bad Rap. Eunice was at the Olympia back in 2023. And I always want to bring this out because, as the other guy says, if you give it something, never do for free. And often I call these payments because ladies I become friendly with, they see me little stuff every now and then. Where it was like a couple years ago after my birthday, I got this gift from my friend Eunice. It's an issue of muscle development. The last print before the company went out of business. It's still online, but they no longer do prints. I got a
Yeah.
bunch of muscle development, Iron Man, Flex in storage for my comics. My mom put them in a storage room one time when she cleaned my room one day, and
Yeah.
and then she saw Andrea. And I always want to bring this out because this is me to my horn. She signed it.
She did. Wow. Aw.
And I've talked to
Yeah.
people that told me how good she is, how great she is. I actually saw her guest posing. Well, I went to my first Batman show back in 2022, and I saw a guest posing. And you know
Yeah.
what? I would love to someday to meet her. Have her. I know she's a busy lady. I know, but this is for me doing this stuff. This content really. For one thing, when I started doing this because my mother was sick for a long time, and I was taking care of her. And if being a doctor, sometimes dealing with somebody in the family that's sick can be a lot of stress on anybody. And doing this content helped my mindset a little bit. And when my mother passed, that's been about five. It's been 5 years. This was something to keep my mind going. Just like you being a bodybuilder, being a doctor, and being serving your country. It's something that you find that's your thing that motivates you as a
Yeah.
person.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's a great story. And then you want to hang on to that, when you find that thing and you found your thing.
Yeah, like I said again, I'm just a particular type of criminal. I just can't help myself. I just love anarchy and chaos. And also, before I leave you, V, I want to tell you, you are beautiful. I can't stop him. Yeah, so, but yeah, this is bodybuilding is like anything. It's a process. It's about growth. It's about working, developing. Like, what's the thing you feel like you need the most to help you evolve in your division in the sport?
Um, do you mean in what way? Like physique wise or
Physique wise, any wise, just as overall.
um I think the growth is really, I mean, I know it's going to take time to reach the physique, my dream physique, but there's always going to be something to work on and to grow. But really, for me, what I want out of this sport is really just to be a good ambassador for the sport and for especially women of India, but also just women in general, and to inspire them to just continue doing, like, you can do multiple things and excel in the sport. It's just going to take time and consistency. And for me, I started as a skinny girl and then I continued on, and I'm going to keep continuing on. And the main thing for me, really, physique wise, is to keep not exactly growing, but building density. And so that's what I'm doing currently in my off season, is just training hard, building density mostly in my glutes. Because in bikini, you can never get too dense glutes. That's the main thing for our division. it's always a glute game. So physically, physique wise, that's where my mind is at to grow more into that sport, and mentally and everything is just to stay strong and know what my vision is and what I want to do. And for me, it's get that Olympia title. So I'm gonna keep going till I get there. And I don't believe there's a Indian bikini Olympian yet, a bikini pro Olympian yet, and I would love to get that title for us. So,
Well, like I said, you're a small but growing group. I think a
mhm.
lot of them are guys, but the women are starting to catch up a little bit. And it's
Yeah.
about the right time, the right show, what you're going to bring. The judges often, like I said, their critiques have changed from time to time. Where they're
Yeah.
telling you girls don't want too much stretch in your glutes, don't want your back to be too big, pull it back
Mhm.
a little bit. It just keeps changing. That's why they're bringing fit model. Because they want that look, old school look. But the thing is, as an athlete, you're going to evolve. Your glutes are going to get more conditioned. Your
Yeah.
back's going to get more denser.
Yeah.
If you don't stick with the criteria, it's not so much as your fault. It's them because they keep changing the goalposts every single time. So
Evolving.
yeah, so we can pull up these pictures here. And these are some amazing ones. This is here doing some training. What's this? What was this about?
So this was one of our challenges we had in OTS training, different types of challenges, and this one I believe was one of the Red Wings challenge that we were doing, and we were practicing combat training in that training session, I think. So that was one of my basically one of the people in my flight, and I was practicing combat training with him. So, and that guy's was like 2-3 times my size, but I was learning to lift him up. He's basically dead weight pretending to be, and so we were practicing that. So yeah.
Yeah, being like my niece, who is military, it's tough being a woman in the military because of people. The general ideas of military is men, strength, strong.
Yeah.
Going to war, batting. Not
Oh yeah.
not everybody fights. Like some people think you're in the Air Force, you're a pilot. Nah, there's so many different jobs in the Air Force. It's not just pilots.
Yeah.
There's you work with technicians. There's, like I said, scientists and doctors.
Yeah. There's
There's
a
so much
lot.
involved in it. And like I said, she is studying to be a doctor, as I will call it, a future Sawbone, and she's a party Sawbone. So, yeah. And also, you get this one here. I say, wow. I mean, I just, you just look like I feel like I'm in love. I don't know what And this one here, I think he may have a future in wellness. I don't know. You thought about that?
So I actually haven't trained quads in 3 years because I capped my quads and my quads were getting too big. So people have asked me that because my quads tend to overpower even now. They're stubborn. Like I haven't trained them in so long, but they're still pretty overpowering. And if I were to train them intentionally, I wonder how whether I could reach wellness. But overall, though, I think my structure is bikini because I have that small waist, the look, and the hourglass shape. But I feel like I've always been curious if I trained intentionally my legs besides just my glutes, because currently my training's quite limited. I'm not allowed to grow certain areas, and I'm supposed to shrink certain areas. So I was supposed to shrink my traps. So my shoulder workouts ended up being limited in what I could do, and then maintain my upper body, and then shrink my quads. But the glutes have been growing, so I've just been training a bunch of glutes basically. And the mass now is there because my feedback too from Tyler and everything was amazing shape, amazing physique. Really not like great presentation, not much to change really. It's more right show, right time, and then continue to build glute density, which just gonna take time. But yeah, I've always had that in my mind, like, maybe I could, eventually have a future in wellness. Maybe in the future if I get tired of not training quads.
Well, yeah, I think it's about the process and time of growing as any athlete. I think I've often somebody told me it's about how your body grows because I've seen ladies who do physique that she would do women's bodybuilding. I've seen ladies who do figure, she do physique, and I've seen now with wellness being the new division, I've seen a lot of ladies coming from those divisions like physique and figure coming down to there, and I think that's what things changing that division, like how when physique came in the game. A lot of ladies had to because there's so few shows for women bodybuilding. Some ladies either have to either move down or just get out of the sport. And then that's what happened to physique because a lot of ladies were coming from that women's bodybuilding, and then it changed the adaptation. And also, you run your own business, and and what's the name of your business?
Jadoo. So that's a Hindi word, and it means magic. So I run that. So I'm a co-coach for that for Bikini and Fit Model with that's Cece next to me. She's like my big sister here. She's Chilean actually.
Oh,
She's Chilean. So she's been great, and we work really great together. Our coaching has grown a lot here, and we have a lot of online lifestyle clients as well, and then online prep clients, and then in-person prep and lifestyle clients too. And she's also a trainer at Dean's Gym, so we both just work really well together, and it's been great since then. So yeah, Jadoo, it's been great. Um, so we love all our girls on the team.
and how long you and Cece know each other?
It's been so she actually it's funny story. So when I told you when I came first to Dean's Gym, when I like knew nothing about the sport, he got me in touch with Cece to help pose me because she's been in the sport for a long time. And so my very first posing session ever was with her. And now it's like a full circle, and now we work together, and it's crazy seeing that. So it's been since 2020, I think January 2021.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I really first decided to prep. So yeah, and we've been growing since then, and we've been close for a while, and we got really close after my accident, my car accident. I was on my way to see her, and I was still an amateur during the time. It was leading up to Universe, and she used to help even train me, so I used to sometimes go do training with her, and I was going to meet her on the way there when I got into that accident, and she literally dropped everything to come to the hospital to be there for me. And at that time, we were close, but not super close. And then we bonded there. And then we've grown since then. And she's competed in bikini for many, many years. And now she transitioned recently to Fit Model. And it was like her debut after years of not competing was this year in July, I believe. So she did great. She did the Masters Nationals as well. She did Indiana show and then Masters Nationals, and she got third and fifth in her class. So yeah, looks like Fit
Mm-hmm.
Model is where she is meant to be. So
So, any plans for do another national show? Like just like as a couple coming up. There's the Olympia amateurs. There's the nationals in Texas, and also is she over 40? Then there's also the USA's Masters, and that's I
yeah,
think in November.
yeah. She could do all those because she's I think in her late 40s or 50s. But she was tempted, but I think she's gonna maybe wait till early next year, I think, unless she decides last minute to jump in. She's in shape right now, so she could
Yeah,
if she diets for a couple of weeks. So
yeah.
um,
Like I said, opportunities there. I mean, like I said, the Olympias is just around the corner, or
mhm.
like I said again, Texas. And if she want to do next year, she always can do Universe because you're both in Ohio, so that's not too far. And also, there's still the Masters the Teen
Massive.
Collegiate Show in Pittsburgh. That's also the first year.
Mhm.
We have here Shatsu here. We have here Richard. He says this. He says Pontiac is back. He says his name is Pontiac 65. That's somebody you know.
No, I don't.
So yeah. This thing about bodybuilding, especially the cost of being a competitor. For y'all ladies, it's more expensive show day than it is because like the men, they have their expenses, but it's like this: the guys, all they got to wear a pair of banana hammocks and boy shorts and put on some tan. That's it.
Mhm.
Y'all ladies, you have to be not just have a great physique, but also present a very feminine look, especially in your division, which is very considered very, very feminine. Some women have an argument that you're not really bodybuilders, but here's the thing is, you are female bodybuilders. You're just a different category. Like I said,
Yeah.
you're not women's bodybuilding, not women's physique, not figure, you're bikini. Even though when it first came out, I was a big fan of it. Honestly, I'm still not a
Yeah.
big fan of it. But I'm over often to like to hear your stories and you ladies how you got to the sport. And the
Mhm.
thing is, like I said again, the cost because your suits that's right there. That's going to cost you a good few hundred to $1,000. Then you have to prep for the shows. Then you have your high heels. Then you have your hair. You have your makeup. You have this and that. Like, who's your suit designer? Because I know quite a few ladies we're following who are suit designers.
Yeah. Toxic Angels. I don't know if you heard of them.
Yeah, I heard that.
They're-
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're pretty popular. So Toxic Angels is the suit that I wore this season, and I'll continue with them. I love them. They're great. Great quality suit. And expensive, but worth it. But all suits are expensive, and anyone that's any suit that is like going to last, good quality, those are going to be the expensive ones, and better to do that than wear a cheaper suit and then lose because of your suit on stage, so because everything matters. So yeah, Toxic, and then shoes, and shoe fairy is great for that. And then jewelry, suit, and then the hair, makeup, all that. It adds up. It adds up. And our show morning is just kind of hectic because we're doing hair. You have to make time for hair, makeup, all that. So it's not just you put on board shorts and you're good. It's a lot of different things that go into it.
Yeah, because actually you got this presentation of muscle and femininity, and
Yeah.
sometimes I've talked to ladies who it's a tough sport for women because even with you in a division like bikini, there's
Hmm.
these people might feel like why she got all these muscles. I say, wait a minute, it's not like she's a bikini competitor, but any little bit of muscle they see, it's like you're trying to be a man, you're trying to be dude.
Yeah.
This is
It's
come
crazy.
on. it, I,
Yeah.
I feel like it's guys like that because they either don't understand, don't have the passion or discipline to do this sport. It's just not for everybody to do this
Yeah.
sport.
Yeah, exactly. I think people who don't, at least like you said, understand the sport or not familiar with it, but those who are really in it, they don't see any issues with women having muscle because they've seen it and they're used to it. And I don't know, maybe it's intimidating. I don't know, for some guys when they see women with muscle, I don't know what it is, um, but then like you said, like in bikini, it's not a lot of muscle, it's just a little, but that little can also seem masculine to some people. And that's where I'd explain to my parents too, like bikini. And at the time when I was telling them, fit model wasn't a thing, but I was saying bikini is like the most feminine sport, or most feminine division in the sport, and the least amount of muscle. So if you think I have a lot of muscle, I show them pictures of other girls in other divisions have a lot of muscle and show in comparison, and it's amazing. Like, I admire their physiques, but I was trying to explain like the difference of my level of muscle versus, because to them they only know me, and so then to them it's a lot, but then I show them other divisions and show them like my division is one of the less muscular and more of the focus on femininity, with the suit and look and everything. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Especially if you look at wellness, those girls are at the level of maybe close to figure and maybe all the way to women's bodybuilding. I
Mhm.
see some wellness competitors who are just as built and stacked. You just got bigger legs and quads.
Mhm.
And that's the thing is that I think that's why I wish more people get educated more about this. Just don't jump to conclusions about what they
Yeah.
see. And it's so easy to make assumptions. And then I said there's also that flip side too, V. Where these other guys, like you say, like V, she a pretty girl. I mean, yeah, she got a nice body. Just yeah, those guys. Those are the guys you gotta be looking out for. I know, because I've talked to ladies tell me that some guys can be weird, can be the extreme of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And are you talking about in social media?
Yes. And in
Yeah.
general, sometimes in public. You might, I know one lady showed me how story where she was like being stalked by this guy.
Yeah.
It's just, and you're like I said, you're very attractive. I know you probably can handle yourself because you're military, but that thing is, it's an old saying. It's a saying I learned from my favorite movie, Battle Begins. Beware of surroundings, young time, young Master Wayne. They'll give a sure footing for a cutting blow. And you got to be aware of how people react to you. I've laid told me that sometimes people are really friendly. They say, "Wow, they be interested and you want to know." And then some people can be just straight out assholes.
Yeah. That's true. And that's where I think you have to just be careful, and then and not, yeah, you just have to be careful in how you interact with people on social media, because some things can be blown up in different ways as well. And a lot of times when someone is either just being weird or creepy, or just you're getting some kind of red signals, I just don't even answer. Like, you don't want to even engage in that sort of thing, and then cause even worse, problems. But then you also will, just the higher you rise, on the flip side, you also get people who can be more haters, and those kind of things. Luckily, I haven't had a lot of issues. There have been some weird DMs about, just weird guys, or just like weird comments, and when I don't engage as much in it, they realize, okay, it's not working, so then they stop, sort of thing. But yeah, so you just kind of have to handle and like see how you also present yourself as well on social media and things like that. And yeah, and be careful. That was one of the things I think even my mom was like worried about as I was growing on social media, like about those kind of things. But you just have to see how you basically interact with people. And I'll talk to anyone, really. Like, I'm open to talking to people until they give me a reason to not, but I'm usually very open on social media and DMs and everything. I try answer people. Yeah, so
Yeah,
yeah.
maybe goes back to think of a movie I used to watch just before your time. It's called Roadhouse with the late Patrick Swayze. His character was Dalton, and he was telling these guys they ran a bar. He was like the cooler. He says, "I'm the cooler." And sometimes he said like this, there's a time to be nice and time not to be nice. And
Hmm.
and then like dealing with the haters, like says, let them hate till they can't hate no more. That means that they have nothing else in their lives but to hate on you because you're doing something that they either don't have the courage, the discipline, or the intelligence to do. Because when I
Yeah.
talk to you ladies, your stories kind of just amaze me because some people just don't understand this. And from what I've learned in my conversations and meeting some of you ladies and hearing your stories, it's just something that really should inspire anybody. I think more people should be open to listening and maybe understanding what it takes to be a bodybuilder. And if this is
Mhm.
something that's not for you, it's not for you. Like most definitely come back is back to this training. Like, what's the day like? Like when you go to the gym, what's that workout you say, I know I love it, it's my favorite, and I was damn, I gotta do this shit.
In the gym, like different workouts. Um, Honestly, I like all the body parts I train. Back then, when I used to train quads, I used to hate quads. I'm like, damn, I don't want to, have to get into my dark place to train quads. But now I got to a point where I'm not allowed to train quads, but now I miss it. I miss squatting. I miss all that. Some days, yeah, you get tired and you don't want to, you're like not as motivated to train, but then discipline pushes you, or pre-workout or caffeine or whatever,
Mhm.
pushes you to do it. And yeah, I think the feeling of how you feel after is what pushes me sometimes. I'm like, okay, I'm going to feel good after. Um, And yeah, I think my favorite really is to train is glutes because I had to focus on that so much, and that's the only part I really can focus on right now. So I've grown to love it. I also teach a glute camp once a week in the gym because I'm just like I know so much about it now that I have all that's all I can really train. Um, yeah, so
Yeah.
I love training though. Training's fun.
Yeah, you're like my favorite classic fighters, Mike Tyson. I just like to fight. I just like doing what I like to do because like, and it's you're doing good work with your clients and your life. I mean, you got a busy life between medical school, being a coach and a trainer. And right now you're not active, but once you get back in action, it's gonna eventually they're gonna call you because, as you know, the military when they put investments in you, it's like pay what you owe. That's what the
Yeah.
mindset
Oh
is.
yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Which
Yeah.
I'm ready for. I'm ready for it. Um, yeah. So it's a lot. It's a lot to juggle. And sometimes social life can get a kick at it. Like my social life gets a little bit down because of it sometimes, but I try my best to make sure I even give myself that time for myself besides just work and stuff like that so I can recharge and balance. Um, but honestly, I think I just love being busy. I love what I do, and I think I thrive on being busy. Because if I don't have as much things to do, I'm almost bored, So like I need constant stimulation. Um yeah, so but it is a balance for sure. And I do like I nowadays I give myself time even just to go out, especially in the off season when I have more flexibility with stuff and I can actually like go out and eat and stuff like that. I try to make the most of it and be like give back to my friends who are so understanding of when I'm in prep and they, like when I'm not able to hang out as much. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know quite a few people show me that sometimes when you get in sport, your life does change. You can't
Mhm.
go hang out with your friends all the time because you have to go get to bed because you got to get up early in the morning and get ready for workouts. And, you want to start your day out so you don't have to worry about, let me get the first workout out of the way. If it's fast cardio, if it's just me just going to the gym and doing leg work or doing this or doing that. And then, being on a strict diet because you know what, that's the most important part. The protein diet is the
Yeah.
most important part of the bodybuilder. Like, I often ask this question, V, what was that last thing that you wanted after your last competition? That thing that you desired, that thing that is, I would say, make you stranger or make you stronger.
You talking about like cravings or like
Yes,
post show?
cravings. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm a big foodie actually, so I love food. I mean, I'm on top of my diet when I'm in prep. It's like switch, a flip of the switch, and I'm like very strict. But once the show is done and I'm able to eat, I'm a big sweet tooth person, so I love my cookies, brownies, all that. But my cheat meal always number one is so simple, but it's a burger and fries. Like that's my favorite food, which
That
is like so simple, but I just love it. That's the if anyone asks me to pick food and then that's on the menu, I'll pick that. Um
that is, I think, the staple of every bodybuilder's post-show meal,
yeah,
cravings. It
so
is a burger and fries. Now
good.
I have her pizza, lasagna. One of the strangest one I've ever heard a couple of times is sushi. I, ma'am, I'm from the South.
Yeah.
And I grew up poor, but I've never been so poor. My mom had to cook, give us cold raw fish. Yeah, but the thing is also food is it's like an addiction. I know I love my sugar. I
Oh,
had a thing of oatmeal cookies early this morning. It'd be like this. It'd be like I like New Jack City on a cookie. It'd be calling my name, man. It'd be calling my name, But
that's
that thing is you have to maintain to fight those cravings because sometimes when you're on prep, I know you even though you're eating like a good amount of the day, but you're eating very high proteins, low fats, not a lot of sugars, not a lot of salt. Your body's
mhm.
burning that up once it gets in your system because it's usually to build the muscle.
Yeah.
And and just like when you're hanging out with your family, I know your mother, she cooks traditional Indian food, and
Hmm.
and you hear it's wafting in your face, it says, "Come here, Verushqa. Can you have some dinner with us?" Say, "Nah, ma, I can't,
Yeah.
I can't." It be calling your name, but that's the thing is, that's the point of discipline. More of this,
Mm.
motivation can change with the wind, because you can get up one morning and you say, "You know
Yeah.
what? I don't feel like doing this. I'm gonna go back to sleep." But then you
Yeah.
get up in the morning and say, "You know what? Even though it looks like it's raining outside, or it's kind of like whatever, you try to find that, you know what? Let me go ahead and push and do what I need to do and get my day done."
That's so true. That's what really will push you, because people sometimes ask, how are you so motivated all the time? It's not true. I'm not, like motivation comes and goes. It's discipline that keeps you going. And in prep, a lot of times you're not motivated. You feel sucky, and you don't want to do your morning cardio and all that, but the discipline is what pushes you, and you think in your head. And I like to think in my head, like, I want to go on that stage knowing I left no stone unturned, and no regrets. Like, I can say that I did everything I was told. I didn't miss a cardio. I didn't do that. That's going to make me feel good when I go on stage, knowing, okay, I couldn't have done any better. I did everything I could, with what I was told. So that's the mindset I have. And so in prep, it's like a flip of the switch for me. And I've never cheated in prep. It's like a different mindset for me. Off season's different for me, because I'm a foodie. I do enjoy my treats off season, and mostly try to stick to my diet, and then have like a schedule type cheat meal and stuff. And I stay continuing checking in with my coach to keep me accountable in the off season. But yeah, I think off season it's similar, but you're just on your diet mostly like 80-90%, and then that last percent you can enjoy and balance, because in prep it's no balance. So yeah, but it's like a lifestyle, so you have to keep it going.
Yes, yes. You find balance. You find one success. Namaste, as y'all say. It's
Oh
just
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. You want to find that thing that keeps you going. Where
Hmm.
some days where you feel like I can't push on, but then if you ever watch the Rocky movies, I watched them a lot when I was growing up, and like Rocky
Yeah.
Balboa, we said like it doesn't matter how hard you think you hit, it's how hard you take the hits and keep moving forward. You
Hmm.
gotta
Yeah.
keep moving forward because, like I said, you want to go to Olympia. You want to go to like the show, like also a classic. That's right there in your backyard. You want to really be the top of your game. You
Yeah.
gotta be willing to go the distance. And sometimes, there'll be days where you feel like, you know what, I can't go anymore. But then
Mm.
there'll be that, like, it's a little. I remember that scene from Rocky or Four when it says like sometimes you feel like you're hurt, and then you hear a little angel on your shoulder says, "Get up, you son of a bitch. Mickey loves ya." We got here
Yeah.
a man, K. Ellie says, "Hey, what's up? What's up, brother? What's up with you?" He just finished an interview a while ago. Shout out to my brother. He was on earlier. You know. So we're not going to keep her too much longer. I know she's a busy lady. She has a job. She has that. She has a cat. She has a lot. This is something to ask. Are you sponsored?
Yeah. So I'm sponsored by a company called High Tea. They're a new, well, they're not a new company, but they're rebranding High Tea. It's a company that High Tea is one of their projects, and I am sponsored with them, and fully sponsored athlete with them. And actually, they're trying to bring their product. They're rebranding it, and they want to bring it to India. It's a natural testosterone supplement. It's like all natural, herbal, but they're rebranding it, and it used to be in the market, and in the U.S. market. It's also the same company that owns Nugenics and everything, so they're a pretty big company, but they want to bring this new product to India, and they want to get into the bodybuilding scene. So they're going to also, I believe, sponsor Sharu's show. I'm going to be going there this November as well to work with them in their booth as a meet and greet, basically signing autographs, things like that. And for the November show that's coming up in Sharu in Mumbai. But yeah, so that they're my sponsored company, and hoping that, and I know it's going to go great in the Indian market. So, and they thought of me. They're like, what better person to represent, you know? So, yeah.
Because you hit all the boys. You are Indian. You have this inspired story. You're the all American girl, but you're not all American. That's
Right.
what thing I think you can go there. You can talk to say, hey, this is a star here. She's from here. She's one of y'all people, and she's
Yeah.
doing something that's not traditional, but it's something that we inspires her. We have here from my man, shout out to my man KL. He says this. He says, V, you make me want to tune in watching the bikini division. He's been to New York before. I think he was there. He actually probably saw you when you competed back in 2024 because sometimes he lives in New York. And a couple of
Yeah.
times he wanted to go to the part where it's all the other divisions, but he missed it. But he saw the bikini girls. He probably saw you one night. And
Oh,
also, he says this. He says, she's Indian. Nice. How do you feel about bodybuilding in India?
yeah. So yeah, kind of like what we were talking about before, like bodybuilding in India is growing and it's great. Sharu has opened that up, and the if you go to one of Sharu's show in India, they make it a big thing over there, and it's really growing. And I love seeing it like that to continue to grow. But there's still resistance a little bit with the women in bodybuilding in India, and so I'm trying to be one of the examples to show that yes, it's possible. And I go a little bit against the grain with our culture, with being a woman with that promoting having muscle and all this. But I am trying to pave that way for other women in India to show them that it's okay to do this. And yeah, so that's one of the things in bodybuilding. I'm just trying to continue to open up the sport for the women in India. And even just speaking to a few people in the Indian community who are big in the sport, they're saying how the Indian culture, they love people education, they love medicine or engineer or whatever. So me being in medical school is a benefit in that way for them to open up and listen to me as well, because they see, okay, like they instant respect in that culture when you have that. And so me having that's a benefit to even just open up and have them listen to me when I'm speaking about being in bodybuilding and opening it up for women, basically. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, his comments like this. He says, "Yes, they have two divisions, from what I understand, but it's still growing. Like I think it's bikini and maybe also figure. And I think physique started to grow a little bit in India because, like I said, two
Yeah.
ladies got a pro card.
Mm-hmm.
And also, he says, you speak Hindi. Yes, she does because she's bilingual. And also, I don't want. He wanted to ask you this. He says, are you single? That's none of your business. So
It's like,
yeah, that's none of your business. If you want to know, here's what I tell you: follow the link, check her out. If you want to know that stuff, that's a lot of personal stuff. And I gotta ask her. Here, I'm from the South. You never ask a lady her business, okay? This is okay. But this is what if I could do. I would love to sponsor some ladies, especially as I know the cost of everything involved with it, the travel, the this, the that, the suits, the this, the training, the coaches. I would love to sponsor some ladies I could. But this is one thing. There's guys out there who are kind of like, the cute little girl there. If you do a favor for me, you want to be my doctor? No. You're sick freak. This is what say, Mrs. Andrade. We are so interested in you. Your story of how you came here to the country, you become a citizen of the country, you serve our country. You also are currently trying to get your degree as a doctor. I would say I am interested in you as a person and as an athlete. So we have a brand that we have, and we like to sponsor athletes. And if it's comfort with you, what you think is comfort with you as your lifestyle, as a bodybuilder, we want you to be part of our brand. But if it's not, then we understand. But if you feel like you can work with us, we work with you. We help you in your path. You help us with our product. We'd like you to be part of it. Would you be interested in that?
That sounds great. I mean, I would like to hear more about it. If you have, if you could send me, I don't know, a message or
That's
something,
that's
details.
just that's just the thing I do. I don't have no company. So, but
Yeah,
that's how I think some people approach young ladies. They have a plan, tell you
right.
what you need to know. Because sometimes some guys be out here like, I got this, I got that. And if you do this for me, those are the guys you
Yeah,
gotta be aware. Be like I said again, be aware of surroundings with. But if
right.
there's people who is genuine interest in you and say, you know what, your story about who you are, where you're from, how you got into sport, that's something we particularly like about you. I think this is something we want to help you in the future, and also in turn, you help us. That's what we like to see. Here he goes, my man. He's always like this. He says this. He says, let her answer. No, this is all. This I'm telling you again. I tell this every time. I
That's
built this shit. Me, brick by brick. I don't need another man to tell me what I need to do.
great.
He's my brother. I love him,
So
but
funny. That's hilarious.
yeah, I'm like I said, sometimes like I said, I'm just a clown. I just like to make people laugh. Oh, and before I leave you, V, I want to tell you something again. You're beautiful.
Oh, I won't forget it now. I've heard it so many times. That's so sweet. Thank you.
I'm sorry about him. He's just, but as I said again, he can preach me. So, before we let you go, madam, do you have, anybody you want to shout out to?
Really, it's the people I mentioned before. My main support system really is Dean Caputo and his gym. They're my family here since my family is not in Ohio. They became my family. So Dean's gym, CC, my whole like Jadu coaching with her has been awesome. And then Jose, my body work, and James, my coach, and the whole team Atlas, and everyone else who's really been there for me through this journey. My family too, and yeah, my all my close friends. It's been great. I have a great support system, and I love it. And then High Tea, of course, my sponsored company. They're really they see a lot of potential in me, and I thank them for believing in me. So yeah.
That's good. That's good. You most definitely in sport. I talked to ladies where when they got to sport, their family doesn't understand it. Sometimes I know ladies told me that. A couple ladies told me they even got divorced because they got into bodybuilding. And
Mm-hmm.
then you're doing something that's not the norm, what they considered. And then some people just kind of stay away. Sometimes when you change your life, you really know who your friends are, and especially your family. Those people that
So
stick by
true.
you through and thin, and
Yeah.
especially people out there who don't understand about bodybuilding. Like when we go to the shows, we see these beautiful bodies, these muscular women, men who are just up there on the stage, but don't understand that what it took you to get there, the dehydration, the tired, the being hangry, the work, the gym, everything else that's involved in it. It's not as easy as more people think it is. But if you're dedicated to it and you're determined to it, like you say, you want to go to Olympia someday. Hell, if you want to get an invite to Arnold Schwarzenegger classes someday, that's what you want for you, and you should keep reaching for that. Here, I got here from my man, KL. He says, best wishes to you, and also he says this to me. He says, stop hating. So you know what? No, 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 no. I'm like my man, Sicky Johnson. Call me play hater here. Let me hate till I can't hate no more. But this is how I
Yeah,
said this to you who are haters. God bless you, because you know what? You hate so much, but we care so little. So
yeah.
that's
It
yeah,
means that you're doing something right when you get haters. So
yeah. Like that's the truth. Like Cat Williams said, like if you're not doing something right, you gonna without your haters that telling you you're not doing something right because you're accomplishing something that other people don't either have the mindset, the courage, or the ability to do. Like
Mhm.
doing this for me. It took me a great while. I made some mistakes. I made some errors. You know what? But still, I'm still learning. I'm still adapting. I'm still working on myself. And it's great to be able to talk to someone like you and to hear your story and your your ambition and for what you want for yourself. That's why I have this channel. I know other people does. My man Kerry does interviews. He did an interview a while ago. Other guys do interviews. Most of the guys like the big muscle chick. But I also want to hear about yourself. And so like this, I like to talk to people like you who have your boots on the ground, 10 toes down.
Yeah, I like that saying. That's
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Like Air Force, aim high.
yeah, yeah,
It's a,
exactly.
yeah. I used to remember those commercials. That said, aim high to go off the rabbit yonder. Yeah,
That's funny.
and yeah, I try to be informative, also entertaining. So, folks, if you're interested in following V's path and you're interested in her few plans, because just like I said, you did a couple of shows this year. Now you're taking the break. You're planning to come back next year. Any show you particularly want to shoot for, or you feel like you just say, you know what, let me pick the one that really works for me.
Yeah, so I think my coach said we'll shoot for June. So maybe might look into Toronto again. Yeah, I'm leaving it kind of open, but there are a couple shows in mind, like Toronto. I can do even World Classic Pro again, or if Sharu does a show in that month and they'll have a Bikini Pro, I could even go to India. So I'm leaving it open, and I'm gonna have my coach end up deciding. But there's so many shows happening in June. But yeah, I think if I were to not do Toronto or World Classic, I would consider Sharu as well. So yeah, that's kind of where my mindset is. And Toronto is really just like 5-hour drive for me, and my coach is there in person because he usually is there for the Canadian shows. He's from Canada. It's nice for him to be there to peek me in person, and yeah. So, but if I were to do any international, I would love to do Shrew because I love to go back and represent US and India. It's just like, it's amazing.
Yeah. Well, like I said, your bikini division, you got 11 million shows compared to women's bodybuilding and physique. There's more opportunities, but whichever works for you and whichever your coach feels. Also, again, like this, your coach may say that, but sometimes you have to be your own advocate
Right.
because you might see something and you know what? You don't want to miss out an opportunity. You just like I
Mhm.
said again, you can trust your coach as much as you can, but also you have to be your own advocate because you know what? You never know we're gonna miss something. So, folks, as I said again, I appreciate her time here. The future Dr. Andrade, maybe future General Andrade, you never know, yeah, it could happen,
Yeah.
like I say, yes, General,
Yeah.
but I do wish you all the best in your upcoming future in the sport. Like I said again, you ladies, I respect your passion, your determination, your motivation, everything about this. And also, I do like your bodies too. I can't help myself. I'm a man. But but I wish you all the best of luck in your future.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And it was a pleasure just talking. So, yeah, it's nice to get to know you more. And yeah.
Well, ma'am, it's one of my favorite saying this. So anytime you ever say thank you, I go back to my favorite hero, and that is the Dark Knight himself. And he said to it, you never have to. Because that's why I do this. This is for me, it gives me a purpose to share your stories, to hear you ladies. I mean, like I said, again, I took care of my mom for a long time. When she was gone, I had nothing else. I just got me. I don't got no kids, I got no wife. But doing this content, talk about you ladies and hearing your stories and doing like right now, I gotta finish some stuff that's coming up because I got an interview coming up in a couple of days. Also got to do a live stream. My Talk Monday podcast. We're gonna talk about some shows coming up and also for this month of next month. And
Wow.
just really, yeah, because I try to be, it keeps me motivated because
Yeah.
some days that's the thing is you got to find not so much for me motivation as much as discipline. Discipline I'm kind of weak at, but I'm still working in it. I'm still working on me.
Yeah. And and you constantly are working. Me too. It's always a work in progress. But it's good that you found the thing that, kind of lights you on fire, your passion. And it sounds like it's this. So that's great. And you've opened up the sport for women to talk about, which is great too, I think. I think that's awesome that you do that. So we have a voice and we can talk. And So yeah, I think you're doing great. Just keep doing this. It's valuable. So
Well, I value your feedback and I value your opinion. I appreciate that because when I have ladies tell me they appreciate what I'm doing, sometimes I have people may not like as much, but you know what? I don't do this for you. I do this for myself as more than anything to give y'all ladies a chance to share your voice, so that people understand who you are, what got you started this sport, which is kind of
mhm.
like a extreme sport. It's not as popular as you look at it right now. Before I got here, you were showing some horse racing. There's sports like there's I was when I went to Tampa, and I was got to my room. I was tired. I watched TV. I was flipping through television. Then they were showing championship pillow fighting.
Oh,
I'm like,
interesting.
yeah. I
That's
mean,
wow.
if you can do cornhole is on ESPN now, but bodybuilding used to be on television, back in the day. But because it's so extreme and everybody's always use that point and thing about steroids and everything. But again,
Mhm.
steroid is only that small factor. If you're not following a
Exactly.
diet, not consistent, not
Yeah.
patient, it's
Yeah.
you can take all of the shit you can take, but you're not going to bring that same condition. You don't follow the guidelines and also the plan.
Exactly. Yeah.
But like
That.
I said, the other. So, folks, if you want to follow the lovely Miss V, her link in the description of this live, check her out, shoot out to her, with your congratulations. Also, again, as a service person of our United States of America, again, I don't say thank you for your service. I said, as a citizen, I appreciate the sacrifice you have made for us. So, folks, if you want to check her out, reach out to her, show respect, show genuine interest. Don't be that weird guy. Don't be that weird guy.
Yes, please.
Yes. All right, lady, lovely lady. I'm gonna let you go, let you finish the rest of your day, and best of luck to you to your future.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Anyway, folks, this is man always George Page, aka the Emperor Female Body Talk. I want to shout out to my man Richard that came through, my man Ryan Lake, also my brother KL the Wanderer. Go check out his channel. I'm gonna check him out because he just did an interview and wants to look at it. So, folks, support these ladies, show genuine interest, and show respect also. Anyway, it's your man always George Page, aka the Emperor Female Body Talk. Don't like, subscribe. I'm out. Good afternoon, good night, and good luck, and God bless. Enjoy Labor Day weekend. I don't have to worry about that anymore. I don't have a job.